Santa Clara has no room for an expensive veteran living off one brilliant night, and it definitely has no room for a hole in Brock Purdy's protection being treated like some minor detail. This roster got stronger, and that is exactly why some decisions now have to cut deep. One receiver is getting squeezed by the numbers. An available guard deserves an immediate phone call. A 37-year-old legend is embarrassing Father Time, and a debate over value could light the locker room on fire. Today, nobody gets comfortable. We are separating production, salary, respect, and ambition. If you demand championship standards too, hit like and subscribe. Talent without courage from the front office gets buried. $4 million cannot turn into a thank you payment for one incredible night in January. It has to buy production over an entire season. And that puts Demarcus Robinson in a brutal position on this roster. Everything around him has changed. Last year, the 49ers' leading receiver in yards was Christian McCaffrey, a running back. That exposed a massive weakness in the wide receiver room. Since then, San Francisco has added Mike Evans, drafted DeJon Stribling in the second round, and still has Ricky Pearsall and Christian Kirk. This is no longer about finding enough available bodies. It is about deciding who actually makes this offense more dangerous. Robinson finished his first season with the Niners with 276 receiving yards in 14 games. Kendrick Bourne, Jawan Jennings, and Pearsall all produced more, even though Pearsall played in only 9 games. Those numbers hit hard because they show that even when this roster was depleted, the offense never viewed Robinson as a featured piece. Yes, that game against Philadelphia deserves real respect. 6 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown in a crucial wildcard win. He delivered his best performance when the pressure rose, and the faithful will not forget that. But building a championship roster means evaluating 17 weeks, cost, role, and room to grow. One unforgettable night cannot lock the depth chart in place. Evans, Stribling, Pearsall, and Kirk are all ahead of him. Jordan Watkins also brings a strong argument. He is 24 years old and carries a contract worth just over $1.2 million. Robinson is 31, entering his 10th NFL season, and will receive the full $4 million if he is on the active roster in Week 1. Keeping an expensive 5th or 6th option makes very little sense when a younger player can fill that role for much less. That does not make Robinson a failure or take away from what he has accomplished as a deep threat. It means the front office did its job. The room got better until a difficult decision became possible. If training camp confirms this pecking order, releasing Robinson before the season would be responsible roster management, not disloyalty. San Francisco spent too much time trying to survive without enough depth. Now that the team finally has choices, it has to show the nerve to choose. His name, experience, and Super Bowl history do not guarantee him a spot. The math is cold and unforgiving. When a player produces less, costs more, and has 5 options ahead of him, one beautiful playoff memory cannot be the reason he stays. There is a line between saving money and getting cheap in the wrong place. Clearing room at the bottom of the roster makes sense. Accepting weakness directly in front of Brock Purdy does not. The left guard job remains unsettled, and treating that competition like some minor training camp subplot would be irresponsible. Robert Jones, Brett Toth, and Connor Colby will get their chance to compete. Good. Competition helps. But the 49ers cannot pretend that having several candidates automatically creates security. There is an opening between Trent Williams and Jake Brendel that could impact the entire offense. Interior pressure shrinks Purdy's vision, ruins route timing, and keeps him from stepping into the pocket. In the running game, one immediate loss up front can kill Christian McCaffrey's read before it even develops. John Lynch should be calling Kevin Zeitler right now. The veteran is still available after spending last season with the Tennessee Titans, and reports indicate that he plans to keep playing. He may be waiting for a situation that offers meaningful snaps and a legitimate shot at the playoffs. San Francisco can offer both. Zeitler would not arrive as some kind of savior, and that does not have to be the pitch. He would bring something no optimistic speech can manufacture: years of starting experience against the league's best defensive tackles, a strong base, power in the running game, the awareness to recognize defensive movement before the pocket falls apart. For an offense loaded with talent, simply raising the floor of the protection could make an enormous difference. There is one fair question. Zeitler has spent most of his career at right guard, while San Francisco's opening is on the left side. That should lead to a football evaluation, not end the conversation. The coaching staff could test him on the left, consider moving another lineman, or use his arrival to create a truly vicious competition. Rejecting proven experience because the solution might require an adjustment would be the real mistake. The path to getting this done is not intimidating. Zeitler is a free agent. No draft pick has to be surrendered. No other team has to be convinced. No trade negotiation can put the future at risk. A short-term contract built to create competition and protect the club would make the move a controlled investment. If a younger player wins the job, great. If nobody is ready, a proven veteran can step in. Put that kind of stability next to Trent Williams, and the left side stops looking like a weakness defenses can attack. Give Purdy a blocker who understands twists, blitzes, and interior power, and he gets room to attack. Give McCaffrey a physical guard, and those inside runs stop relying on improvisation. This is not panic, it is prevention. Serious contenders do not wait for September to expose a flaw that July already placed right in front of them. If Zeitler is healthy, motivated, and willing to compete for the job, the 49ers have to make the call. Waiting for the problem to solve itself is not patience. It is gambling Purdy's protection on hope, and this franchise cannot afford to make that bet. The irony is almost insulting to the rest of the NFL. The 49ers are searching for stability on the interior, while the man protecting the left edge keeps crushing every argument about age. Trent Williams is 37 years old, and people working inside the league still view him as the second-best offensive tackle in football. ESPN's ranking came from evaluations by executives, coaches, and scouts. Williams ranked 4th last year. Now he has climbed to 2nd, behind only Penei Sewell. This is not a Lifetime Achievement Award or some sentimental vote. These are football professionals evaluating who dominates the position right now, and they are placing Trent above almost everyone. The contrast makes it even more ridiculous. Sewell, the top-ranked tackle, is 25. Tristan Wirfs, ranked 3rd, is 27. Both are at the age when explosiveness, recovery, and strength should all be working together at their absolute peak. Their average age is 26. Williams has 11 years on them and remains right in the middle of that fight like the clock has completely lost its authority over him. Offensive tackle gives you nowhere to hide. Every snap demands balance, violent hands, and lateral movement against younger pass rushers who spend the entire week hunting for a weakness. Williams is not surviving on reputation. His technique, power, and intelligence force evaluators to admit an uncomfortable reality. The next generation has arrived, but it still has not knocked him out of the elite. That raises the pressure on San Francisco too. Having such a rare player protecting Purdy creates an advantage that cannot be wasted by avoidable breakdowns beside him. Trent can erase an edge rusher and completely change the geometry of a protection. Even he cannot make up for the interior collapsing again and again. His presence makes a potential Zeitler addition more logical, not less necessary. I want the faithful to pull one image from memory and drop it in the comments. Which Trent Williams play best captures that brutality for you? Maybe it was a block in space, a devastating collision, or the moment he launched a defender and sent you flying off the couch. At 37, Williams is not being given permission to stay among the best. He is taking that spot by force. If anybody still sees him as a star in decline, the answer came from the people building rosters and preparing defenses. Challenging Trent Williams is still a terrible plan. I am about to pick a fight that some fans might not expect. Kyle Juszczyk may be stretching it when he calls himself a tight end, but using that quote to paint him as nothing more than an expensive decoy is a lazy way to read 49ers football. George Kittle invited him to tight end university for the first time, and their friendship obviously played a part. Juszczyk also believes he belongs in that conversation because he moves all over the formation and handles different assignments. During an interview with Matt Mayoko at the American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe, he summed up the contradiction. During contract negotiations, he is treated like a fullback. On game day, he feels like he performs tight end duties. Put the argument on firm ground. Juszczyk is not a traditional tight end. At 6'2" and roughly 235 pounds, he rarely attaches to the line of scrimmage and handles edge defenders the way Kittle has to. His receiving production does not support officially changing his position either. He has never topped 354 yards from scrimmage in a season. If the debate is based strictly on receiving volume and conventional alignment, his case starts to fall apart. But football is not some fantasy spreadsheet. San Francisco's offense uses pre-snap movement, disguised intentions, and personnel versatility to force defenses to reveal their coverage. Juszczyk can come out of the backfield, work as an H-back, block on the move, and emerge as a receiving option when the design creates space. He does not need 10 touches to influence linebackers and safeties. Calling him window dressing ignores everything happening before Purdy takes the snap. The nearly $46 million Juszczyk has earned throughout his career did not just fall out of the sky. He was paid because very few players can execute that hybrid role with the intelligence this system requires. The rarity of the modern fullback does not automatically reduce his value. In certain offenses, it makes the fit even more specific. The 49ers repeatedly chose to invest in that. Those were decisions made by the franchise, not some con job pulled off by the player. Does that mean Juszczyk is right to view himself as underpaid? Not necessarily. Contracts are shaped by position, market value, and what another team would actually be willing to offer. A fullback who also works as an H-back does not magically earn starting tight end money. Juszczyk has every right to defend his work. San Francisco has the same right to evaluate his age, usage, and cost when the contract expires. He will be 36 at the end of this season, and his deal is set to expire. Retirement is possible, but that belongs to the future. It is not a sentence that has already been written. Until then, the right debate is not whether fans should mock a veteran for speaking with confidence. It is whether Kyle Shanahan can squeeze real value out of that versatility in an offense surrounded by weapons. Juszczyk is not Kittle, and he does not need to pretend that he is. He is also not some overpaid extra who only shows up when the defense forgets about him. He lives in a strange middle ground that is difficult to price. He can be wrong about the label and right about the complexity of the job. After a respectable career wearing red and gold, that conversation deserves analysis, not cheap disrespect. Today's message cannot fit inside one headline. Winning rosters are built when franchises know when to cut, when to invest, who to protect, and how to recognize value without cheap sentiment getting in the way. Robinson may become the victim of a stronger receiver room. Zeitler represents a phone call that should not be delayed. Trent Williams keeps defying time, while Juszczyk reminds us that a player's role cannot be measured by yards alone. Different decisions, same standard. San Francisco has to operate like a team planning to play in February. Subscribe to 49ers Express and make this channel part of your routine. We will be back tomorrow to challenge every move, because the window will not wait, and the faithful should never accept hesitation.